This is so cool. So
Asher, you go through the whole casting process. You come in with high hopes, and
yeah,
then you're out here with me, the first person voted out. What is like the initial thoughts?
I think the reason I was nominated was so stupid because Lucas said I was secretly campaigning for the council, but I was putting just as much effort in as anyone else, and I even made a diary room about it, explaining to everyone why I wanted the position, not keeping it a secret at all. But I guess he like totally took other people's word for it, and that's why he nominated me. And I thought he was just so unnecessarily rude during the eviction speech. I mean, the nomination speech. And I knew when he said that, I'm like, damn, I'm screwed. Like I was like, there's what can I do if the HOH week 1 is that rude to you in the speech for no reason? Like you can't really do anything.
All
And
right, so
outside.
after that speech, you played in the veto, it didn't go so well.
Oh.
What was like your, I guess, strategy or campaign to keep you in the game? Because I feel
So
like at first it was like kind of you didn't really know what to do, but then like in the last like today it was more like I'll come for Lucas. So tell me like what made that switch into like more aggressive?
wait, first, can I ask, is this gonna be aired like live right after?
No, 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 no. This is like we're gonna post this after the season, so you can speak your
Great.
mind.
So I'll say everything then. So initially, my campaign was like, well, most of this game is on Discord. I'm going to stay true to that. This is all new for me. It was kind of hard to get people one on one because it's like kind of awkward. Like, hi, can you come with me to this room and like sort of campaign to them? And I tried my best to get to know everyone in the beginning, like truly as a person and as a friend. And I made my pitch to some people why they should keep me. I said the fact that Annabelle had connections in this game and I didn't. And for me, that's just like a no-brainer. I would vote for the person with no connections who's promising you like I'll take you far in this game with me. That's for me is a no-brainer. And then Ross, who I never trusted, this kid is on my nerves. I would tell him something and be in a conversation, and I'd see him right after in a conversation with Lucas, and I knew right away something was up with him. And then he told me that Lucas told Ross that Brandon was the real target of the week, and Ross told that information to me. So I said, okay, I have this information now. I am not going to tell anyone because if I tell anyone, I know that it's going to be my downfall. I'm not going to say this information. I'll lose an ally. Like, I'll just continue as I'm doing, low key campaigning, whatever. Next thing you know, I'm going to call with Brandon and Ross, and all of a sudden, I word vomit this whole thing to Brandon. And the second I said that, I was like, well, shit, I need to change everything about my game because I just made the most stupid mistake in history. And not only did I tell Brandon this, but the only other person in the call was Ross, the person who told me, my ally. So I'm like, shit, Lucas told me this information. I knew Ross was going to tell, I mean, I knew Brandon was going to tell Lucas because who wouldn't do that? I was hoping he wouldn't, but obviously he did. So I already started coming up with things to do. But I thought that Lucas took it in just an unnecessary direction and was like kind of attacking me as a person. And I was just trying to maintain like Ross's integrity, hoping that he would keep me after the end. Like I was not going to say no, it was actually Ross who told me all this information. But I don't know if he kept me. I don't know who kept me. But so that's how I changed it up. I was getting way more aggressive when I knew Lucas was becoming way more aggressive.
I muted, sorry. Well, kind of like leaving this, you obviously this wasn't like the dream experience,
Yeah.
but what are you taking away from it? Did you learn anything or because kind of this is kind of like your like come back into the fandom. I know you played a few other games, but this is like
Right.
really like you stepping back in and then it ends so shortly. So what are you like taking away from this?
Well, I'm taking away that it's really hard to get to like I it's really hard to not only get to know people on a personal level, but then know when it's socially okay to start talking about the game. Because I guess I rubbed people the wrong way and I started campaigning because I heard people complaining about my campaigning. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I think it does have to do with the fact that I haven't played games in just so long and like I lost that touch of like, this is what is socially acceptable in the game at this point. And it's also so much harder when it's over Discord. And um that's kind of like what I took away. And I also took away that like people are literally like they're so willing to conform to what they think is like the majority or the norm because I know so many people are like I'm considering it, I'm considering it. And if those people had just talked with each other and been like let's keep Asher this week, I would have stayed. And they didn't do that. And that is so annoying to me.
All right, well, we're kind of wrapping on that 5 minute mark, which is unfortunately the end. So, thank you so much, Asher. You were such a pleasure. You definitely spiced it up towards the end. It was entertaining to see. So, thank you for coming and being a part of this.
Yeah, it was so fun to be here. And I said that I would leave a mark, and I did. First boot is more memorable than like third boot. So there
Very
you
true,
go.
very true. What happened, Drew? It seemed like everything was going your way a little bit, and then all of a sudden, are
Yeah.
you blindsided right now?
Yeah, it's super because everyone was like, "Oh, Ross is getting out." So like at that moment, I was like, "Wait, what?" Everyone flipped, I guess.
What do you think happened? Do you think it was like a last minute thing? Do you think it was just a bunch of paranoia votes? Like, what do you think happened?
To be honest, I feel like everyone like was gonna vote Ross, especially after like last night when Ross came in. It was like during the whole when everyone thought Ross was gonna quit, they kind of like just want him in the game and like I guess just feel that he deserves it more, something like that.
Okay, so um it was 7-4. Who do you think the four people were that capped you?
I know Jade voted for me. Maybe Tristan, Maddie, and I don't even know the fourth one.
Okay,
Like, I
well,
don't know.
obviously I can't tell you because it is still happening,
Mm-hmm.
so I will tell you at the
Yeah.
end of the season, but what you came into this game with Jade, who you were friends outside of the game with. How was it like playing with
Mm-hmm.
in the game with a friend that you have seen on the outside world, and then you're playing this game with them, and what dynamic did that bring to the game and for your game?
All right. So practically, like, it helped a lot, like knowing like different things. Like she'll like talk to someone and be like, "Oh, we should trust this one, like trust this person," or be like, "Oh, we shouldn't trust this person because they're kind of like a snake." So like we had like two different experiences that we could like put together.
Mm-hmm. All right, so um I don't know what to ask you. I just feel like that was just such like a blind side to you. So I'm kind of like
It
wanting to hear
was.
like what you thought happened, or like I don't know. Do you want to like elaborate on anything you said kind of earlier? Because um I mean you thought that you were saying like I'm assuming by like a landslide. I'm pretty sure is that what you were kind of thinking.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what
that's
ultimately do
what
you
I was
think
thinking.
flipped it, or do you think there was even a flip at all? Do you think it was always going to be you, or what was going on?
There's a side of me that just felt like it was always gonna be me, but then like I don't know, everyone just had me thinking like I was gonna stay and that like everybody hated Ross and like I was the one like, oh, like you guys shouldn't really like be talking about him like this way. So like it was kind of just surprising.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't know, it just took me by surprise.
Okay, so ultimately, what do you think you like? Do you ever think that there was like one point where you were like, dang it, I messed up that moment. Oh, that's what made me lose. What, like looking back at the game, where did it all go wrong? Or what
To
was your
be
like biggest mistake?
honest, I feel like my biggest mistake, especially for this week, was like not really speaking to Anna as much. Like we spoke on Instagram a couple of times, but then I guess like that like wasn't like enough. But the thing is like she never really spoke, so I was confused about that. But yeah, like I felt like if it was anybody else, like it wouldn't have been like this. Like I just felt like she just put me up like due to connections, but like if it was like someone else, like the noms probably would have still been Ross, but I don't think it would have been me.
All right, well, thank you, Drew, so much for playing. It was a pleasure having you play, and thank you so much. Hello, Anna. You sit
Hello, Dejean.
week you were the one calling the shots. You were HOH, and this week you're outside the house with me. Tell me what went wrong.
Well, I think I was good until Dominic spread around. Like, I don't know. He just kind of messed up my chances with. Because Dejean really wanted to keep me. Chapman wanted to keep me. I know Izzy wanted to keep me, but she wasn't going to flip. But Chapman and Dejean were really, like, I kind of had it in the bag, I guess, until Dominic sketched them off. But I don't really blame Dominic. I think he like really wanted me to stay, but yeah, like I don't like yeah, I don't
All right, so you had two votes to keep you tonight. Do you have any idea who those votes are?
That's going to be Jade and Dominic. I think Tristan would have obviously flipped, so he can go to the other side, which was smart. And same with Brandon.
So, are you leaving the house with like bitter feelings? And if so, like who are you like mad at or frustrated with?
No one. I really love everyone, and I'm really thankful for this. I didn't think I would go this soon. I think from what people were just saying, it wasn't my fault. It was just the entire sides thing, and they just didn't like Dominic because he rubbed them the wrong way. And from that, they needed me out, and yeah.
Okay, so who you were obviously in the house for 4 weeks, so you kind of got the gist of everything. You kind of saw different people's reactions, and
Yeah.
you basically got to see like people's true colors. Who do you think is going to win this game?
While Lucas is playing a strong game, he's made himself really a target. I think it really just depends. I'd have to think about it a lot more because it's so early in, and there's a lot of people like that are really lying low, and there's a lot of that can go wrong, and yeah.
Okay, so now on the flip side, who are you wanting to win? Who are you rooting for the most?
Um, I don't know, maybe like Tristan. I don't I don't know. See, like I love everyone. I love everyone, and I don't know. I like Tristan and Brandon a lot, but I don't really mind who wins. I like everyone. But Tristan's really sweet, and I hope he can win like a out of house thing. I don't even remember the name since
You're fine.
it's
Yeah. So what are you obviously like right now your journey has come to an end in the ZFAMEZ house, but what have you taken from your experience? You were in there for I think 13 days. So what are you taking away from everything?
Well, what I'm taking away is Survivor is definitely a big, like different from Big Brother. I don't know. I don't remember who told me it was the same, but some people said that, and it's not at all. I think with Survivor, I have like I think I do a lot better with that because this like you can be put up and you become a target when people don't even want you as the main person out, and I don't know. Yeah, that's the best way to take away from it.
All right, well, thank you so much for playing, Anna. I had a joy watching you play. So thank you so much. Tell me, you're sitting out here 9-0. What happened, Jade? Last few weeks you were safe, whether it be council or house royalty. What went wrong?
And Dominic went wrong. I feel like I got too involved in defending him and being his friend, and I played more of a friendship game, and then it just ended up making my game worse.
So let's go back a few weeks when the whole game really kind of started, when you were blindsided and one of your closest allies going home drew. And that moment, I feel like, well, you tell me, ever since that moment in the game, did you kind of feel like you were outcasted a little bit, or did you feel like, what was like your emotions through that?
I mean, I felt like I was an outsider from that point on. From that point on, I wasn't involved in the majority, whether it be them voting to evict Anna or voting to evict Drew. I was always left on the outside. Nobody told me what was going on. Even today, I feel like I spoke to a few people and I didn't. I knew that I was going to be evicted. Like, I felt it in my heart, but nobody told me out of their mouth. So
Okay.
it's like, what? Like, everybody just kind of forgot that I was there and left me out most of the times.
So looking at the house, who are you kind of like rooting for or rooting against?
I hate to say this, but I hope Lucas wins.
Really?
Yes,
Tell me why.
he is playing them so good, and nobody's doing anything to stop him. And that is a good game. He's playing a good game.
hmm Now, on the other end, who are you like rooting against? Who do you not want to see win this game, Jade?
I don't. This is hard. I mean, it's not that I don't want to see him win, but I don't want to see Chapman win. Like,
Really?
it's because he put me up. It's like even though I love him as a person, but it's like, damn, you put me up and now I'm in this position. But
hmm
yeah.
All right. So tell me, obviously, if you don't really have anything for this question, that's fine. But is there anything that you kind of like either learned about yourself or learned about like how people perceive you playing this game? Like what is something that you're like taking away from the game?
I learned that I'm very emotional. When I came into this game, they told me to play with my head and not my heart. And I started playing with my head in the beginning, but the longer I stayed, I felt like I was playing more with my heart and not with my head. And I feel like that's what eventually got me evicted. And I need to learn when I'm playing a game that I need to be smart about it. I can't always think with my heart, even though my emotions are in it. I have to think with my head.
Hmm. So do you have any like regrets leaving, or are you proud of the game you played? Do you wish you would have done anything different?
I think I'm proud of the game I played. I think I was honest to everybody. I was honest to myself. I wasn't fake.
All right, perfect. Well, Jade, you were such a pleasure to have this season, so I want to thank you so much.
I want
Just
to
gonna
thank you.
thank you. All right. Hello, Brandon. You sit out here with me. The first juror of the season. So you made the jury stage, but unfortunately you weren't able to survive this first jury vote. Tell me like what went down this week. What happened? Make you sit right here.
Okay, so like Ross wins HOH, and he tells me he's not going to put me up. Tristan, the week really started after the veto. Tristan won veto. He's going to use himself, use it on himself. And then Ross and I are having conversations. He mentions to me that he wants to put up Maddie. I wasn't lying about that. He genuinely did have that conversation with me. He wanted to put her up, but he didn't want to be deemed racist by the fans. And then he just kind of pinned it all on me. People got word of that, and I tried to make a last-minute push at the end. And for a second, I actually thought I had it. I don't know who the three were. I know Dejean was one of them, but I don't know. I really don't know what happened.
If you had to take a wild guess, who do you think it would be?
Dejean, Emily, there's no way in hell she kept me. I'd say Dejean, Annabelle, and Tristan.
All right. Well, looking at the game, obviously over the past few weeks, you have talked a lot about this majority alliance of 7. Tell me, like, what do you think about who you call to be in this majority alliance, and like, what do you think is ahead in the game?
I think things are ready to shake up. I mean, obviously a big house meeting just occurred, and Dejean even said publicly, "I'm out." So hopefully things will shake up. I wanted to be there when things were ready to shake up, but I love Dejean, and I really hope he goes far in this game. I have nothing against him. Ross, I think he's pathetic. I really do. I think that he has no capability of making a game move. Izzy, whatever. Maddie, whatever. Lucas, he's playing a really great game. Chapman, he's cool as well. But I mean, overall, like, it was just kind of annoying because you'd see these people that get on Discord, and it would be like this like big call, and then nobody else could join. I just felt like really isolated, and it was, I don't know. I feel like I couldn't get my footing in.
So you kind of just went through the whole cast. Tell me, out of everyone, who do you want to win the most? Not necessarily who you think could win, but is there somebody who you really are rooting for to make it to the end and possibly win?
Honestly, even though I really wasn't like super closely aligned with this person, I really want Dejean to win this game. He's super honest. He's super upfront. He's let these people know exactly what he thinks, and I respect that personally. I like that this alliance is splitting up, and it's pretty much because of him speaking his mind during that house meeting. I really am rooting for him to win this game.
All right. Well, kind of, do you have any like regrets or anything looking back? Like maybe I should have made this move then, or would you have switched around the timeline maybe in things that you've said or like have done? What are you leaving thinking, oh, that's where I messed up. I wish I could have done that different. Or do you not think it's like one specific thing?
It's tough because, as I said, like at the house meeting, I really wanted to throw everything at the wall. I didn't want to like go out and then be like, oh, I wish I said this. So I really tried to get as much off my chest as possible. I think it's tough because I think that I could have maybe kept my mouth a little more solidified, because I think during this past hour, I was really like, I think this person might keep me. I think this person might keep me. Like, if that's enough, will you keep? And like, I don't know. I think I really got fucked over this week by the person that was in power, because I kind of had to push for 5 votes, because in a tie, there was no way he was going to keep me. And then people like were telling me like, oh, people want you out in this game. So I really just think like I was really fucked over this week, and there was like not much I could really do.
All right. Well, do you have any closing thoughts coming towards the end of this interview? Like, your journey the whole time, like any like to wrap it up in one and put a bow on it, what would you say?
Yeah. I mean, I've had a fun time personally. It's a little unfortunate. I feel like obviously, like, I'm really grateful for the opportunity to play, but I feel like I didn't quite, like, get the experience maybe I was, like, hoping for, because I really wanted to be able to play this game, like, well, and, like, I stayed true to some of it. I feel like I played an honest game. I feel like I was, like, good with the strategy portion, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe with, like, I think what I could have done actually, like, better is, now that I think about it, is I could have maybe solidified better relationships, even though I was in the minority. I think I should just put more of a smile on my face about it, but I was really unhappy, but overall I had fun, and I'm grateful to be casted. It was a fun time, and yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much, Brandon. You will be going to the jury house. You're juror number 1. And contrary to popular belief in the house, tonight is not a double eviction. So you'll at least need to wait one more week until someone joins you. But thank you so much, Brandon.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Hello, Emily.
Hi!
You are the first eviction of tonight's double eviction. So first of all, are you shocked that it's a double eviction?
Yeah, like, I didn't expect a double eviction to happen this, like, at this time in the game. Double eviction, but that's whatever. Like, to be honest, I'm not surprised I'm a victim of a double eviction once again, but it's okay. At least I got second juror, and, you know, I can say I got second juror like Sophia and Trey, because I love Trey and Sophia with all my heart, so.
All right, well, you had a very explosive exit. Tell me what your strategy is, or I guess, like, what do you want to happen when you leave that house saying all
I
that stuff?
want someone I want Lucas to come in, to be honest, like, because he came in, like, when I left Trey's Discord call, I was like, okay, I'm gonna talk to Lucas, and he was like, oh, I'm evicting you, blah blah blah, and I'm like, bitch, are you fucking retarded? Like, are you stupid? You have the mind of a pebble? Are you like me for the third grade? Because, like, I think you are, and I really want someone who I don't want Dejean or Maddie coming in. Maybe Maddie, because her dumbass thought that the votes weren't able to be there. Izzy, I'm not surprised that Izzy evicted me, because I remember Eric telling me she was a big ass snake, because she played a mini with him, and he was like, oh, she snaked me 2 times, and I'm like, well, it's probably gonna happen to me too.
Okay, so leaving the house, you talked about Lucas a lot. Who do you think is like, well, I guess let's talk about Lucas first. You were really close with Lucas. You picked him for veto this week. He did not save you when he won. And then now you're here. So tell me, like, what happened with you and Lucas?
That big ass bitch fucking didn't know how he didn't know that Chapman and Tristan are actually going to backstab them. Literally, Brandon, me, and Tristan were all in a conversation, and he was like, oh, I think we all know Lucas is the biggest threat. And literally, I don't know how Lucas is all bipolar, because he literally said it when he won double eviction HOH that he was gonna put up Chapman. Like, where the hell did you come from? You said you wanted Chapman gone, now you keeping him? The hell? Like, I can't believe your dumbass was like, I vote to evict Emily. Like, bitch, why are you gonna vote to evict me? The hell? So I hope that bitch knows that whenever he comes to the jury house, he's fucked as hell. Like, I'm pretty sure he's not winning, because I'm pretty sure I don't think he knows what the thing jury management is called, and that's really bullshitty. Like, I knew from the get-go that Dejean and Lucas were going to go for each other, because they were 2 like the best players. So obviously they're going to go against each other, like Jennifer and Janelle. So I'm pretty sure that I want, Dejean to stay, because Dejean, I went home because of Dejean, but, like, that's whatever. Like, I went home because of those 2. So that's really pissing me off, and I hope he knows that, like, he needs to do some, like he needs to go to a therapy for games, because I don't think he knows that I'm 11, and he's treating me like I'm some kind of adult fucking drinking whiskey every now and then. Like, hell no. I'm 11, and I am literally not gonna take this as well, but I mean, at least I can say that some of these trick ass bitches who hated on me 24/7, who had nothing to do better with their lives, that I played a good game. Like, I flipped the votes 2 times with Jade and Drew. That was an accomplishment. I feel really accomplished because of that, and I hope you know that I flipped those votes too. Like, and like, I feel like I played a pretty good game and all in all. So I think I could come back for second chances, because I got fucked over a twist.
All right, well, we kind of got to wrap things up a little short here, unfortunately, because it is a double eviction and I have an HOH competition to get to. But Emily, in 3 words, your final 3 words, describe your ZFAMEZ experience.
Crazy, good. I don't know if I want to say crappy or surprising. Crappy and surprising. I'll pass the limiting 4 words.
All right, perfect.
So is there a jury house? Is there a jury shot?
Yes, I will get you in there eventually. Thank you so much for playing. All right, Dejean, what happened? This last week has just been so chaotic. Tell me, like, sum it up, like, from the moment Dominic won HOH last week to now that you're sitting here, what conspired against you to end you in right here?
The moment that I said in the meeting that I was not with the 7, they took that and they felt as though that I was going to spread information that they said in the chat and information that they gave me. I guess they don't know me as a person because I just don't feel like I need to tarnish anybody's game. I'll let somebody else do that for themselves. So in that moment, I knew that they were like, Dejean has to go because he's a vital force in this game. He can turn this around. So when knowing that that Lucas, Chapman, and Ross were trying to get me out, I found it very funny because they've all talked about each other and talked about getting each other out in the game. So I'm running how that's going to transpire in the game. But getting that information and trying to get Dom not to put me up, I knew going into the next week if it was a double or not, I had to win HOH. Didn't win HOH. I needed to win veto. Didn't win veto. And I just needed the campaign, but people just aren't playing for themselves. I think people are scared to make moves and actually do something in the game. And I think they don't understand how detrimental that's going to be for them at the end of the game. Because when you're sitting in the final 2, we want to see your entire game. That you attempt to make moves, that you attempt to do anything in the game. If you didn't do that, then I'm not going to give you my vote. I'm not going to respect you as a player. Because at the end of the day, it's like personal in-game. If you lied to me, schemed to me, okay, I can get over that. But if you didn't play the game, I'm not going to reward somebody for that. So.
All right. So Lucas wins that HOH in the double eviction. Did you feel immediately like you were in danger, or did it kind of set in after?
I knew once it came down to Lucas, Chapman, and Tristan, I was hoping for Tristan to win, but I don't know, Tristan would have probably got tricked and told what to do for his HOH. So when I seen that was the final 3, I was like, I'm going up, so let's get in the mindset of winning this veto. Came really close to it, but didn't fulfill it. So.
Okay, so 2 people voted to keep you. Who are you thinking those 2 votes are?
I'm thinking that it was either Maddie and Izzy or Maddie and Tristan. But I think they got to Tristan last minute, and he knew that if it was a tie, he didn't want to be in a position where they will go after him after this week. So I believe he did evict me. So I think Maddie and Izzy cut me.
Okay, so looking at the game, where do you think that like what went wrong for you to end up right here? Like, was there a move that you made or a move someone else made? Like, what ultimately is the reason that you're sitting right here in your opinion?
I think it was the week Jade went home. I think I didn't speak up about how I really wanted Jade to stay. I think I let an alliance speak for me as a player, and I knew that in that moment I needed to change that up. So moving forward, I think people see me become a more individual player and not just listening to what they wanted to do. Wanting to keep Brandon, they didn't like that. And then when Dom won, they wanted to even plan to get me out. I really couldn't do much more in that moment. All I knew I could do was just speak my truth and just see if people believe me or not. Because this game does get into your head, paranoia does kick in, and it just led to my demise in this game.
All right, so looking at like your whole experience, day 1 you entered, you're here on like day 40 something. What not 40, it's like 20 something. But what was your experience like? Was it like, give me a few words or like a sentence or so to describe like your experience or what you're taking away from it?
Taking away from it, I think I'm a stronger player than I believe I am. I knew coming into this, people knowing my name, and seeing me playing like Reality Noted in other games, they're like, oh, Dejean's this big face, like everybody's gonna want to like work with him. They probably want to, but then in that moment they're gonna be like, we want to take him out. So I knew I needed to play extra and play 2 times harder than I usually would play. And I knew when I seen Lucas, he knew my game. I knew he was gonna spread that around and tell people. He got to me first. He made the move first. The experience was what I thought it would be. Hearing it from past players, they're like, it's one of the best experiences that you'll ever get. It's real. Emotions kick in. You build connection with people that you probably wouldn't think of. And I think that's what I did. I'm coming out here with a lot of new friends, which is I'm thankful for. And I'm also, happy I didn't get first boot. And I'm a jury, so I get to vote. So.
All right. Well, you definitely are going to be on the jury. You're going to be helping decide who wins this season. So thank you so much, Dejean, and thank you so much for playing.
All right.
All right, Chapman. 3-2. You sit here. You had a little plan, something up your sleeve. What went wrong?
I don't know. I think Dominic, maybe he's not as dumb as I thought he was. I thought it worked. Okay, I didn't think it worked, but because usually when I talk to Dominic, he tells me what he's going to do and he tells me the truth, even if he's against me. So when I told him my plan, he goes, I don't know, man. He was like, I'm going to go host my comp. This might be the last time we're talking. And I was like, okay, talk to you later. So that right there is what made me feel like it wasn't going to work. But I tried. Like, I was even like, and Dominic, no one's going to think this is you. Like, next week, it's probably going to get pinned on the people that fucked me over, and I'm going to drag them down with me. Like, that's my plan, Dominic. I want you to not get blamed for this, and this is going to be perfect. And I don't know. He didn't write it.
All right. So, obviously, you just found out that tonight's a double eviction. So, who do you want to see follow right behind you?
Izzy. For
Izzy?
sure. Yeah.
Is there anyone like... Maybe I want to see this person too, or actually answer, who do you not want to see walk behind you?
I don't want to see Lucas or Ross. Now that I'm out, I want Lucas or Ross to win the game. So, rooting for them.
All right. So, unfortunately, you don't get your full interview. You're going to be cut a little short because it is a double eviction. But leaving the game, you made the jury, so you made it decently far. What are you taking away from it? Do you have any final thoughts leaving?
I had a really good experience. Best game I've ever played in by far. It was the most authentic game I have seriously ever played in. I played a real life Survivor game, and this is right below it in entertainment and amount of fun and just the amount of work that I put into it. I really did care about this, and I've been playing for 7 years, and I'm tired of losing, and I wanted this to be the game that I won. But I didn't win, but I did do everything I could possibly do, and I had so much fun. So I think maybe I was playing a little bit harder than I usually do, because usually when I play these games, I get 3rd, 4th, or 5th. Maybe I played too hard this time. It was too big of a threat. I don't really know. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Chapman. It was such a joy having you. Hello, Izzy. Wow.
Y'all.
Literally about an hour ago, you were HOH, and now you're sitting here. Lucas won the HOH. When Lucas won immediately, what was your initial gut feeling?
Oh God, I was so mad. I was so mad because I feel like he knew that. I mean, when because I was talking to Lucas right before, and he had every chance to tell me he was keeping Chapman, and he didn't. And so that was kind of a clue. If he didn't tell me that, then I don't know.
All right, so you're on your HOH reign. Chapman left 3-2. Were you expecting that?
Part of me wanted that just because I have a heart. So I wanted a reason to go after certain people. And I don't know if you noticed or I told you, but I literally designed the noms to make it so that if Lucas was a final nom, he would go home without me getting anything out of my hands. Literally, it would have worked out too if he lost veto, it would have worked because I kept the 3 people off the block that would have voted him out. And I think he caught that. He definitely because he was mad because I feel like Lucas has been the face of every single move, but it wasn't. He voted. I got him to keep Dominic. I was the reason Ross stayed. I literally I'm gonna say it straight up. I hate claiming moves that aren't mine, but I pitched it to Lucas, I pitched it to Maddie, pitched it to them. We all got together, decided on it. They pitched it to Emily later, and I was like, pitch it to Emily in a way that makes it seem like her idea. So Emily pitched it to me. I'm like, oh my god, Emily, yeah. And then Dominic, Jade staying. I mean, if Jade would have stayed, it would have been better for Lucas's game, but I wanted Dominic to stay, so I felt better for me.
So, Izzy, you are obviously. Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, sorry, I froze for a second. So you got one vote to stay. It was 3-1. Who do you think that one vote was?
Maddie.
I cannot confirm or deny, but wow, I don't even know what to say. Do you have any final thoughts, kind of wrapping up the eviction interview? What did you take away from the game? What did you learn anything, or just kind of sum up your whole ZFAMEZ experience?
Well, I am not that mad just because I am mad, but I'm not mad because I feel like I'm thinking about last week because I did a power last week. I did I did exactly what I wanted to do. I don't think because Lucas was safe or lock, and I did everything. I knew Lucas was gonna come for me eventually, and I feel like I did everything I could have done. I really feel like I did.
All right, well, thank you so much, Izzy, for playing. This is gonna wrap up your eviction interview. Thank you so much.
Whatever. Hi.
Hello, Lucas. So,
Can
you told me earlier today, you were like, I'm either going to get 6th place or I'm going to get 1st place.
Yes.
Here you are at 6th place. What's going through your mind that you just got evicted?
I'm not shocked at all. If anything, I would have been more surprised if I stayed. I fought really hard, but I do think Annabelle was leading me on a lot this week, and it's pretty shitty because all day today and all night last night, she was like, I'm 50-50, I haven't decided yet. But then you see the DR that she made before she said all this 50-50 stuff, and she was like, I know for sure what I'm doing based on what happened in the Chapman vote, which makes me really confused because Ross also evicted her, so I don't understand where she's coming from, and I think she might be the dumbest player in that house.
All right, so you said the dumbest. Who do you think is playing the best game, smartest, has the best shot at taking it all?
As I said in my speech, it's Maddie, and I honestly hope she wins. She's a great person, a strong woman, and she's been playing circles around them, I guess. I didn't think she was, but I remember right before, it was a few hours ago, so I guess before the eviction or whatever, Maddie sent a message to the house chat saying, might not be on tonight, guys, and then Annabelle says, oh, don't worry, me and Dom will win it for you or something, and I was like, and then she unsends it instantly. So, I mean, that makes me think that Maddie's had an alliance with them for a while now. I don't know, but regardless, they're fools for trying to keep around Maddie, who has all the juror support, and she has my support now. So, yeah.
All right, so you played a lot of competitions this season. You won quite a few. What competition was your favorite?
Oh my god. That's hard. I think I loved OTAD because that's a BB classic, and the feeling that I got winning that was just so amazing. I also loved eating the cups one. It was so much fun. And that was my 5th veto win, so it was awesome. I beat the veto record. If you count Dungeon, I beat the full-on comp record too, so feeling pretty good.
All right, so looking at your game and your stay in the ZFAMEZ house, what are you taking away? This is kind of your final statement, your final last hurrah.
All right, well, I feel like no matter where I am in the gameplay rankings, I played the best game I could possibly play. I ran vote after vote. I flipped votes. I strategized. I got people to do what I wanted. I got Brandon to freaking put up his ally week 4. I'm really proud of the game I played. Comp-wise, I've won the most comps in ZFAMEZ history, if you count dungeons. And I'm just proud of myself. I didn't think I could do it. And I used to be someone who cheated in competitions, and being able to come here and do all of this where it's just me, it felt amazing that I could do all of that on my own, and it was rewarding, it was awesome, and this has increased my confidence level in so many ways. So I'm proud of myself, I'm proud of the game I played, I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I'm very scared to go into the jury house.
All right, well, thank you, Lucas, so much for talking with me. All right, Annabelle, It's played. You got pretty far. You were in the end game. You had kind of a rocky start early on, so you were nominated a few times early on. Then you stayed on the block a little bit. Then towards the end, you kind of find yourself on the block a little bit more. Tell me, like, what happened this week when Ross won HOH? What was your initial thought?
I knew Tristan was getting nominated, and so Ross was like, I need you to go up so we can send Tristan home. I'm like, rather not, obviously, because you did say you were going to target Maddie, but okay. So yeah, once the finals cup stacking, I'm like, yep, Tristan's won this, but obviously I'm still gonna try. Sprayed risk all that, and Tristan won. I'm like, yeah, I basically know I'm going because we kind of figured that Ross and Maddie would make a deal at some point, and so it's basically I don't have that connection with Maddie. I just really couldn't get one, and Tristan was placed in an awkward spot, so I'm not surprised I'm here.
All right, so
I take me out too.
Yeah. All right, so you were cut right at the end. If you were to get to the end, did you think you had a good chance of winning? What were you think your odds were going into everything?
It depends who I've been against, because I realistically only thought I could win against Ross or Dominic. Because Tristan obviously had that really successful HOH week. Maddie has more friends in the jury than I'll ever have. People were rubbed the wrong way by Ross, and I feel like I had a strong case against Dominic, because Dominic was a ride or die from the start, but he also would do anything I did, so I could use that to potentially beat him at the end.
All right, so first of all, you got a little injured in the veto competition. It came down to you and Tristan again. This is the second cup competition that came to, where you both felt like your life were on the line in the game. What was your favorite competition this season to compete in, out of everything?
Probably either of those cup ones or that HOH I won, just because it was something I didn't realize I was good at. I didn't realize how perceptive I was of people or how well I can balance cups. Because I'm really not good at competitions. I knew that coming in. So the fact I did manage to win a HOH and get second in 2 vetoes is pretty impressive for me.
All right. So ultimately, you had to have done something wrong, maybe in this week or weeks and weeks ago, that ended up and kind of domino affected into your eviction. Can you pinpoint one thing that you did or you think you messed up or something you maybe regret that maybe if you did something differently, you wouldn't be sitting here?
Probably, I don't know, because at the start I was renommed by Dejean and Chapman, and that just kind of escalated to Dejean nominating me week 2, and due to that whole blow up with Viva, I feel like people didn't necessarily want to talk to me that much, so it was probably stuff that I couldn't control that led to that point. It's just some connections in this game I really couldn't build upon. That also probably didn't help at this situation as well. But it's probably a bit of stuff pre-game with people and past beef, whatever, that just affected the game. So probably don't yell at people in past games 9 months ago.
All right. So out of everyone left in the house, you have Dominic, Maddie, Tristan, and Ross left. One of them is going to win. Who are you rooting for and who are you rooting against at this point?
My day one alliances of Tristan and Dominic, I want them to win, because I've been with them since the start, especially Dominic, my ride or die, sucks so hard being the block next to him. I'd like Maddie not to win just because I feel like she hasn't done much game-wise. I know she wasn't in half the vetoes, but I just feel like she's playing very late. There was reasons we targeted people who she was associated with. But ultimately, I feel like out of everyone, I'd probably vote Ross over Maddie.
All right. Well, all right. Well, Annabelle, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure sitting down with you.
Thank you.
Ross, Final 4. You had a long run. You didn't quite make it to the finale, but you're here. Tell me what happened this week. You were HOH last week. You're sitting here evicted this week. What went on?
Well, okay, so basically I knew that it was all going to come down to that veto. I knew that I had to win the veto. It was the last and most important one of the season. Final 4 is all about the veto, and I knew that I needed it. So when Tristan won, I knew I was done, basically.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how you don't seem very sad. You seem like very accomplished and happy that, not happy, but like just, I guess, satisfied, proud of yourself.
I don't. Okay, so I don't want to. Yeah, I don't think happy is the word. But I do want to say, I guess, satisfied because I mean, everyone here knows that like I thought I was gonna be leaving pre-jury, so I did try my best, and despite what people think about me like riding people's coattails, I really do feel like I played my own game and I did everything I could to make it as far as I can. And so I am satisfied with how I did. That being said, like I think Tristan did make a mistake keeping Maddie because Maddie will win this game. But, it's whatever.
All right. So speaking of pre-jury, it was week
3.
Was that 3? All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about 2. I remember you were in the diary room with me. You were like, Daniel, like, I just don't even like feel like I can even go into the Discord chat. It's just so obvious that like I'm on the bottom of the house. No one wants to talk to me. No one wants to hear me out. I'm being isolated. And then you're at Final 4. So tell me about like that. Obviously, we know both extremes. Tell me about the journey.
Right. Okay,
What?
so basically, I did understand what Tristan was saying right before he casted his soul vote to evict me. He was basically just saying that I blossomed because in the early stages of this game, in the pre-jury stages of this game, I was being extremely aggressive in my strategizing, in my campaigning. And when I was put on the block week 3, and basically I was public enemy number 1, I had to adapt because that's what Big Brother's all about, is adapting. And I had to understand that if I continue to play this aggressive this early on, I won't make it much further. So I guess that's why people, later on started thinking that I wasn't really doing that much because I kind of stopped that like aggressive strategic like playing that I was doing. But to me, that was strategy. That was my adapting strategy. I don't think if I would have sat and let Lucas make some of the decisions that I would have made it this far, because even though he was, telling me to do some of the things, the decisions that I was making were also good for me. And it was a part of my adapting process because I was like, if I'm letting Lucas make these big decisions, then I will advance further in the game because no one will look at me as a threat, which is what I was trying to do the whole time. I was trying to tell Tristan, Maddie will win this game. Like, don't let her go any further. Everyone in the jury adores her. Everyone in the jury hates me. So, but I mean, there's nothing else I could have done besides win the veto, and so.
All right.
Yeah.
So kind of wrapping up your ZFAMEZ experience, maybe like in a sentence or so, have you like learned anything, not necessarily like about yourself, but just like learned anything in general, and like what are you taking away from it, basically?
Okay, yes. I learned a lot about myself and how I play this game. I play Big Brother with a lot of passion because the mental and strategic aspects of this game I love. And it got me in trouble, but it also advanced me. So I'm taking away from this experience so much love for this production team, and just so much happiness that I also got to learn how to not be so emotional and impulsive in what I say, and that other people's opinions about me shouldn't affect how I'm playing the game. I definitely had a problem with like the audience perspective, and I think I let that get to me. So I did learn about myself and how to not be so emotional and impulsive, but I do think that I'm satisfied with how far I made in the game. Like, I didn't think I was ever gonna make it this far. I really wish I could have made it to Final 2 because I do think I could have won. But I guess Tristan noticed that too early. I was really trying to downplay my gameplay. But no, that's what I'm taking away. I'm taking away so much love for this this production team and you, and how much you helped me. So thank you.
All right. Well, Ross, I'm going to cut this interview a little bit, not short, but like I'm going to cut it off now. Thank you so much for playing. You were such a joy, and you will be joining the jury. Your game's not over. You still have to help crown a winner. So you're definitely a part of the game still, so don't get too sad. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Maddie, what a journey. You got cast. You made it to Final 3. I know you're feeling a whole bunch of emotions right now. I just witnessed it for over like the past 5 minutes. You went from crying to laughing to how are you feeling right now?
Like I genuinely like
Oh my god.
sorry.
You're fine.
There's like no words. I feel so dumb. First of all, because I literally during that comp, like on the last question, I could see like the B peeking through his index card, and I still put A because I was like, I'm not gonna cheat, and I think it's A. God, I'm so fucking stupid.
Oh my gosh.
And like, I don't know. I really don't know who I'm gonna vote to win. Like Tristan might have just like lost himself the game. I think. Okay, this is so weird, but like, I think Tristan can lose to Dominic, and I think I definitely could have beat Tristan, but I think Tristan can still lose to Dominic. So I don't think anybody's won the game yet. And that's what I was trying to stress to him, that like redemption story versus like pretty much like high tier floater. Like, which do you think is gonna be more redeemable to the jury? And I don't know.
All right, well, you definitely had a lot of journey. You mentioned earlier that you were the only person from the 7 left in the game. Looking at the final 2, those are not the 7. So your alliance has been officially taken out. It took all the way to the finale to do it, but you were the last standing. What was your you talked about Dominic's redemption arc. What was your arc? Because you definitely had a journey in this game.
For me, I wrote, okay, this is so bad, but I was like, in case that I made it to the final 2, I wrote out an entire speech already, so I have it like written. And what I talked about was how coming in, like you remember in my interview, I didn't want to have an alliance. I didn't want to work with people. I wanted to have like my little soul shooter, like free agent type of thing. And when I got added to the alliance and I knew so many people, I was like, shit, I have to re-up everything. I have to like remake my entire strategy, you know? So I like coming in, when I got added to that 7-person alliance, I realized that, well, I was the one that told Ross he was staying, so he was like forever indebted to me. It showed up until the very moment that he left the game, because he still like never put me up. Ross was like forever indebted to me. I made connections with the other side of the house. I made sure nobody would ever put me up. And I'm still like proud to say, like, yeah, I lost, but I've only been a final nominee, or I've only been nominated in this game for a total of 20 minutes. And I think nobody else can say that. And I think that is something that I'm very proud of in this game. I think a big part of my game was not only social but strategic. Every week I was planning for the next week. I wasn't planning for what was going to happen at this, but I was planning, okay, what do I do if this person wins HOH, and what if this person wins HOH? I was planting seeds, talking to people, saying, what do you think you're going to do if you win? Throwing competitions on purpose. I was sad that I wasn't getting picked for videos, but I was happy because I didn't have to get blood on my hands. Voting in the minority because I knew whatever Lucas wanted, I didn't want to vote with that, so I voted in the minority. I would keep who I wanted to keep. I would do whatever was best for me moving forward. And I think that was my arc.
All right, well.
I can't hear you anymore. You muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
All right, perfect. So you were so close to the end, but you ultimately are going to be joining the jury. So looking at the final 2 and just kind of like what you're taking away from ZFAMEZ in general, because you were here pretty long, longer than a lot of people can say. So what are you taking away from this whole experience?
I think it was amazing. I think it shows that, I guess in the end, comp wins are the most important, apparently, because I can't win a fucking comp. And if I could, I'd be in the final 2 right now. So I guess comp wins are unnecessary. And I think it shows that really expect the unexpected. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, there was no telling what was going to happen tonight. Unless Dominic and Tristan had, like, a final 2 that I didn't know about, which is, like, sucks, but whatever.
All right, well, thank you so much, Maddie, for playing this season. It was a pleasure watching you play, and I just want to thank you.
Oh, thank you for casting me and giving me this opportunity. It was so much fun. I recommend it to everybody.
Thank you.